Okay, I'll start with, I think 6 quarterbacks go in the first round. We've been here, and look, that's only been happening. That's only happened once in the entire history of the draft, back in 1983, that famed draft class, and it's kind of hard to believe it has not happened a single time since. Obviously, everyone talking about, we know the top 3 quarterbacks: Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Drake May. Then we also have J.J. McCarthy, and then now it feels like maybe Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr. will also sneak into the first round. And if that happens, boom, we're making history here. But the problem is, if you end up with one of those 6 quarterbacks, there is a good chance, probably 50% of them will end up being busts. For those of you who don't remember the 1983 draft, that was when John Elway, Todd Blackledge, Jim Kelly, Tony Eason, Ken O'Brien, and Dan Marino all got drafted. And of course, only a few of those became household names. So I do think we will see all 6 taken in, or 6 quarterbacks taken in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see specifically Michael Penix and Bo Nix. Both of those guys, when we were doing the odds show earlier this week, they had their over-under set at 32.5. And Penix feels a little bit more locked
Penix
in.
is under, by the way, is under 32.5 is juice like minus 275.
Yeah. So it really, and we've been seeing a crazy range. I mean, JJ had him going 8 overall to the Falcons in his mock draft. It's just such a crazy swing for him specifically. For Bo Nix, for me at least, it feels like Broncos are bust. Like, it just feels like that's the way the winds are blowing. So if we get past Denver and Bo Nix is still on the board, like if they miss out on, a quarterback that they really like, I don't know if they reach for Bo Nix. It's going to just take a really desperate team, I think, to bring him aboard.
I will just throw on top of that, Sully, I think the Vikings could also make sense for Bo Nix, because you look at what Kevin O'Connell, kind of in that Sean Payton mold, where he wants an accurate quarterback who's going to play within his system. And you look at the Vikings did last year, running a lot of play action. Bo Nix, pretty solid. He just fits the mold of what O'Connell might look for in a quarterback. And if he's there at 23rd overall, because, whatever, the Vikings keep all of their picks, I could see the Vikings taking him at 23. So I think those are the 2 teams, kind of when I thought Knicks would be taking the first round, to be one of those 2 teams that ended up taking him.
Yeah, I'll tell you this real quickly, because Emory Hunt kind of gave me, he said it on the show earlier this week that he liked, if he gets out of the first round, Bo Nix, he threw out the Rams as a possible destination for him as well. And I'm not going to lie, I did place a wager on that. So that will be really fun if that hits.
What was what were the odds for Bo Nix to the Rams?
I will pull that up for you right now. But they have some pick in the second round that made a lot of sense. Obviously not with the first.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were talking about, and by the way, along these same lines, worth noting, I think it'll be out. So this podcast is coming out on Thursday, right? Which is draft day. We recorded a little bit earlier. On Wednesday night, we did a 7-man mock draft for CBS Sports HQ. You can watch it. I'm sure it's on the site. And probably might have been on television. I can't remember exactly where it was going to be. But the point being is, I think Pete Prisco did some. This is out today. This is Wednesday, so happy draft day tomorrow. Who knows what day it is? Time travel is amazing. Anyway, I think like Prisco had Penix taken at 12 to the Broncos, and then in the box show we did with Brady and Dews on Tuesday, which you can check out on the YouTube feed, obviously, Brady had the Vikings trade up to 5 with the Chargers to take Penix, not McCarthy, which is would be fascinating. And I sort of wonder, or maybe there's the Raiders. Yeah, the Raiders traded up to 5. Excuse me, Raiders and the Chargers traded in that mock draft. That's what it was, not the Vikings. But either way, you get the point. Like, the Chargers are willing to trade with a division opponent to get them a quarterback. Like I saw Connor Allen, a buddy of mine, tweet out like, "Oh, Michael Penix's agent deserves an award for doing the best job of like pumping up his stock." I feel like people really like Penix, and it's kind of flying under the radar. The only issue, it's sort of one of these COVID guys where he's got injuries and his age. He played a lot of college football. By the way, I pointed out 1,680 something passes for Michael Penix's college career. I pointed out to Brady, not realizing Brady also attempted 1,600 passes in his college career. But that was obviously, but way back in the day when, he stayed for 4 years. But I mean, Penix has been bouncing around all these different spots. You just sort of wonder, is there a team out there that falls in love with Michael Penix and takes him early on? And if that's the case, and then you have J.J. McCarthy go to the Vikings at 11 or whatever it is, then I think Bo Nix is a stone cold lock for the first round. And then that's how Breaches, if Penix goes in the top 15 picks, it probably means that either it definitely means either J.J. McCarthy's falling a little bit, or we're going to probably get 6 quarterbacks in the first round because McCarthy's already gone. And then Nix is a guy that you hear stuff that the teams really like him. Again, he's older, but these COVID year guys, this bell curve on these COVID year guys is just fascinating.
11-1, by the way, on Bo Nix.
And you know what? That's good odds. I want to throw a fun fact there. Les Snead, the Rams general manager, went to college with Bo Nix's dad at Auburn. So there is some Nix-Rams ties, Sully. So if that cashes, you can buy draft fears for all of us. And maybe I should get even bolder based on Brinson's explanation and just say 6 quarterbacks in the top 20, because that would make history. It was 6 quarterbacks in the first 27 picks and 83. The 6 in the top 20 sounds possible, or 6 in the top 23, because that's in the Vikings pick.
All right, Breach, you've got another bold prediction.
All right, let's throw this one in. We see at least one team make a monster trade in the first round where they move up at least 15 spots.
Ooh.
I'll throw the Bills in there. I didn't list a specific team, but I'll throw the Bills in there because I feel like a likely candidate. This is not something we see very often over the past 10 years. And this is draft day trades. We're not talking before the draft. This is you're on the clock. You got to get the trade done. So it only counts draft day. Over the past 10 years, there have only been 2 draft day trades where a team traded up at least
the Chiefs and the Bills, right?
The Chiefs to get Patrick Mahomes in 2017, not the Bills. No. Anybody want to guess? You want to guess again on the other one?
The Julio Jones trade doesn't count, obviously.
No, only the past 10 years.
Okay.
But Julio Jones would be a good example of what I think the Bills will do.
Yeah. 15 spots or more. Was it the Saints to get Marcus Davenport?
It was the Saints moved up 13 spots. That was a good guess. But still one of the all-time most.
Producer Harry's a good guess. Except it was over 10 years ago. The Dolphins get Deion Jordan.
That was over 10 years ago, and
that was in 2013. But that was a big move up.
It was.
Give us a division. What division was the team in?
NFC North, and it was recent.
NFC North. Oh, the Packers to get Jordan Love.
No, it was the Lions trading with the Vikings, go from 32 to 12 to get Jameson Williams.
Oh, God. I didn't realize they went up 15 spots to get JMO. Oh, yeah, because they had the 32nd pick from the Rams, because the Rams won the Super Bowl. Right. See, I wasn't thinking, that's good. Wow, that's crazy.
20 spots is insane, and that was just 2 years ago. So, I think we see at least – so it's only happened twice over the past 10 years. I think we see it happen Thursday night.
I love it.
I'll give that a B+. I mean, it's only happened 3 times in the last 10 years. If you want to give A-, I wouldn't hate it. You gave me a B+, so I'm, being spitefully reciprocal. It's the Bills make a lot of sense, and I think the name that you would peg the Bills for to move up would be Rome Odunze too, right? Where Odunze dips far enough that the Bills can get within striking range. Like he falls past the Bears at 9, and then. Who's at 10? Who's at 10? The
Jets.
The Jets. Jets and Bills probably not doing that deal, but maybe you could see, let's say, like the quarterbacks are off the board, Odunze slips into the teens. Maybe the Saints or Raiders
are willing
to.
The Bears at 9 would be the spot, because the Bears only have 4 picks in the draft, so they'd probably be open to adding some, and they could pretty much name their asking price if Buffalo's trying to move up 18 spots.
That's true. I was just thinking like the Saints or the Raiders might be willing to move back to where Buffalo was, get like a future first, and then they can draft Bo Nix at what are the Bills, like 26 or 27 maybe?
28.
They are 28.
28, yeah.
I like it. I give it an A. I give it a little bit higher than that, just because, again, it's something that hasn't happened in a while, and it would be something along those lines of a Super Bowl contender having to jump extremely high to probably draft a flashy position like wide receiver. You mentioned Buffalo. sneaky San Francisco too. Like if you can attach
Ooh.
31 in Brandon Ayuk to a team to really jump as high as you can to replace him and bring in a star-studded cheap wide receiver, wouldn't hate that either.